This
Communications.
conference will now
And
be
as
recorded.
speaking delegate, very special guest, Mr. Puspender Singh. He has completed his master's in IEEE in
Samagya, are you there? Yes, your voice is cracking.
I think we lost her. There is some network issue at her end.
Okay, sir, I'll just give a short introduction. And okay, we have today a discussion session on communication with the self-contact lensware, and we have a speaking delegate as Puspender Singh, sir. So, welcome to you on our session, sir.
Thank you so much, Kapil. So, very good afternoon, all. Hope you all are safe and definitely at home. So, wish for like your safety during this pandemic time. Also, wish for like we get out of this situation as soon as possible. So, that is something like we are seeing very first time in our life, something so dangerous, so complicated thing, pandemic. So in fact, today's discussion is about something similar, in complication with soft contact lens wear. So during this discussion, or at the end of this presentation, we will understand why complications can occur during contact lens wear, especially with the soft contact lenses one, the main sign and symptoms associated with these complications, and what are the managements of uh, some of these specific type of these complications. So this will be the agenda or objective for today's session. So complication, if we look at very scaring word, if we look at, or whenever we talk about this term complication, but as we see the recent situations, recent scenario with contact lens wear, so we see very few cases, not so frequent one as these used to be there in the older time, and that is mainly because of the advancements in contact lens category, materials, advancements in technologies, advancements in designs. So these are the things which have reduced these complications. In fact, you especially for those optoms who are practicing, so you yourself must have seen that we see very few complications, very rare things which are there associated with soft contact lenses nowadays. And if you look at ideal contact lens, so definitely we use these contact lenses to correct our vision. So to restore or to provide normal vision, it should be like it should permit unlimited wear. It should not be like we can wear that particular lens for limited hours in a day. Also, at the same time, it should not produce harmful side effects, or it should not create any adverse event in our eye. So in a way, it should be biocompatible with our ocular tissues. But as soon as we open the contact lens from the blister, we put on these lenses on eye. So we know that contact lens comes in contact with so many things. First and foremost, environment of our eye, basically tear film. So multiple things happen whenever the lens is there on eye. So deposition is there. It comes in contact with environmental depositions or pollutants. Also, it comes in contact with environment or microorganism. So we know that whenever the lens is dirty, especially the lenses are dirty, in that case, the contact lens will not be 100% biocompatible. And if that contact lens is not biocompatible, so it may lead to some events in our eye. there could be some conditions, some situations in our eye where we need to intervene there. Also, like at that particular time, these lenses act as a foreign body in our eye. So complications, it could be mild, which could result in slight discomfort or blurred vision, or if it is serious, while it will be rare, as I mentioned earlier with soft contact lenses especially, then it may require medical attention. So if suppose we continue, we don't take care of our lenses in a better way, we don't clean our lenses in a proper way, we don't follow the instructions, so these complications may lead to some consequences like ocular safety concerns. There could be infection or inflammation in our eye. Also at the same time, suppose these things are happening, these complications are there, so these may scare our consumers as well, our patients as well, and it may it may hamper the satisfaction rate or level of the consumer or patients with these contact lenses, and in many of the cases they may drop out of the contact lens wear. And as a practitioner, for us, it will definitely increase the chair time. Also, for those practitioners who are beginners and they get complications in starting itself, so somewhere it will decrease the enthusiasm, or it will somewhere make them to control in proactive recommendation of soft contact lenses. And if you look at these complications related to contact lenses, so the major culprit, or it may be because of two major reasons. Either there is some change in physiology of our eye, or there is a mechanical stress on the ocular tissues. So there could be multiple factors related to these complications, like mechanical, physiological, lens contamination, environmental, as well as the microorganism. So I'll take you through about these factors bit in detail. So mechanical, mainly because of the pressure from the contact lens on ocular tissues, maybe because of the poor fitting characteristics, either steep or flat fit. Also, it may be because of the damaged lens, like the lens is torn or it is splitted and we are using the same lens on our eye. So it may cause the damage to ocular tissues. Also, the poor S shape or the design of the design or thickness profile of the edges. So it may also affect the overall experience. Then definitely surface deposits, which are the major culprit behind the complications related to contact lenses. Then in physiology, it is mainly related to oxygen supply, which is reaching to cornea, or mainly the hypoxic conditions, which have been induced because of the contact lens introduction. Also, it may be because of the poor tear film or dry eye. Then there are some systemic diseases which are associated with the ocular conditions and may affect overall experience with contact lenses. Then lens contaminations. So if suppose lens is contaminated, so what all are the reasons because of which the lens may be contaminated? So it is mainly lens deposit, and if it is hydrogel contact lens, then primarily it will be protein deposit, or if it is silicon hydrogel, then it could be lipid deposit. Then chemicals that reduce the surface wetting. So we know that it is important for any of the contact lens to be wettable. So there could be some cosmetic items which may come in contact with contact lenses, and it may change the surface property of these contact lenses. Also chemical solutions, mainly we use lens care solutions, and there are some component which may not be compatible with ocular tissues, like hydrogen peroxide, which may damage our corneal epithelium. Then we look at other factors like environmental. So complications may be because of these changes as well. like if your patient is there in a windy environment or most of the time in AC environment or in under air conditions, so it may affect the overall lens physiology or ocular physiology, as well as the air pollutants like dust and smoke. The another factor is microorganism, which is the most dangerous one, but not a very frequent one also at the same time. So it could be because of the bacteria, virus, fungi, and amoeba. And if we consider the microorganism effect on eye with contact lenses, so mainly we consider either bacteria, fungi, or amoeba or protozoans. So if suppose these microorganism attack is coupled or associated with mechanical trauma or physiological changes in our eye, so it may be very dangerous. So these are the common factors which are associated or which are responsible for complications with contact lenses. And if I just share with you, it is mainly the non-compliance from the patient side. So these are the greatest source of complications. And what is the non-compliance? All those actions which are against all the instructions we give to our patients, or if any of our patient um fail to follow or fulfill the requirements or the instructions which been given to be followed with contact lenses, then we can say those are non-compliance. And in current scenario, if I look at the common non-compliances are overwear of the lens, overnight wearing of lenses, then swapping of the lenses or swapping the lenses with your family members or your friends, not following the like care regimen part. So these are the main non-compliance things which are there with our patients. So how do we get to know about these complications? How do we get to know that there is a adverse event or effect of the contact lens on eye? So we get to know about these complications mainly because of two reasons, two things: symptoms and signs. So what are those signs and symptoms? Sign is basically structural changes or whatever we see. As a practitioner, whatever we see in patient's eye, the changes. So that is basically sign. Then symptom, what all your patients complain about. So those are the symptoms. So these are the two main things we get to know that there could be complication because of the contact lenses in eye. So we know that there could be so many symptoms which could be normal. We call them adaptive symptoms or normal contact lens adaptive symptoms. Means these are the symptoms which may be there when the patient is neophyte or first time user of contact lenses. And what all are those symptoms which are normal or adaptive? Like variable vision, mild discomfort, tearing, redness, frequent blinking, intermittent dryness, sensitivity to light, or minor discharge in eye. So these are the symptoms which are normal adaptive, and these are normal, not sight threatening or complicated. But there could be some symptoms which could be alarming. So which are those symptoms? These are like pain, unusual redness, blurred vision, excessive tearing, or extreme sensitivity to light. If you find any of these symptoms from your patients with contact lens wear, so it means you should immediately think about either something wrong with the eye or contact lens. So there are some common signs as well which are alarming, like redness, tearing, excessive tearing, or structural changes which we get to know at the time of eye examination with slit lamp, corneal damage, mainly the staining, lens appearance, so mainly the deposition over the lens surface, and vision loss or changes. And we may classify these signs as like mild, moderate, or severe as per the conditions. So these are the symptoms and signs we need to be careful about that which are the normal sign and symptoms and which are the alarming or complication related symptoms and signs. So let's move to the complication part. So we can look at, or we can divide these complications on basis of like major three categories. One is hypoxia related. Second is contact lens or lens fit on eye related. And third one is infection or inflammation. So these are the three major categories we can classify these complications. And in fact, I'll take you through these complications as per these categories only. So start with the complications related to corneal edema and hypoxia. So corneal edema, we all know that corneal edema is quite common in our daily routine life. In fact, we can see this corneal edema. So corneal edema is basically swelling of cornea or increase in thickness of cornea. And we see daily this thing in our eye, especially in the morning hours whenever we wake up. So that is, we call it physiological corneal edema or overnight corneal edema. And as per different researchers, that percentage is different, which ranges from 2 to 4 or 5.5%. So 2 to 4 is quite common as per like Toit and Sweeney, so which is quite normal. But if this corneal edema is more than that, then it may lead to some other changes in our cornea. In fact, we see that this is the first and foremost change in our eye, which is there because of the contact lens, especially those contact lenses which are there with less, very less water content or decay by T. Also, if you look at these type of corneal edema, so these are more centrally compared to periphery. So as we know that 2 to 4% is quite normal, but if this corneal edema increases more than that, then it may lead to some other changes in our cornea. And the first change after the edema is striae. So striae are basically like these are grayish white lines in or near the Descemet's membrane. They are usually vertically oriented, vertical in position, 1 to 3 mm in length, and usually thicker than nerve fibers. And if you differentiate, nerve fibers are in radial manner, while these striae are vertical. And when it will occur? So when this corneal edema reaches or touches 5% at least. So in between 4 to 6% as per Holden and Swarbrick. So we can see this striae. And in fact, if we look at, if there are suppose 10 number of striae, then we can say there is a corneal edema of 11% plus minus 2% we can consider there. But nowadays, because there are so many patients on there are so many patients on silicon hydrogel contact lenses, so we may see less incidence of this striae in our cornea. In fact, if suppose this corneal edema increases more than that, if it is more than 5%, then what will happen? Then the next change will be fold. So folds are basically, we can say, dark or black lines as fold. That's why these are called corneal folds, and these are there in corneal endothelium layer. And in fact, as per Efron, the corneal edema, it should be at least 8% or more than that, just to lead to this corneal fold. And again, if we look at if there are suppose 10 folds, so it means there could be corneal edema of 15% plus minus 3%. So if you are seeing folds in cornea or corneal endothelium, then we can say that corneal edema is quite high, which is alarming. And in that case, patient may complain of blurred vision, halos, hazy vision, or In fact, spectacle blur also may be experienced by these contact lens users. So if you look at the symptom of out of these corneal edema conditions, so they're generally asymptomatic. Means you may see there are so many patients on hydrogel contact lenses, especially conventional hydrogels where oxygen transmissibility is less than 12%. 12. So even in those cases also, you may not find many of the patients complaining about these lenses. Why? Because what all changes are there because of the hypoxia. So they most of them are asymptomatic until unless the corneal swelling or edema is quite significant. In fact, if it is significant or if it is more, then it may reduce the vision, basically diffusive or spectacle blur, haziness and halos. So how to manage this condition? How to manage corneal edema? So we know that it is mainly because of the hypoxic conditions with these contact lenses. So we need to choose a contact lens with higher decay by T, especially the silicone hydrogel ones. Or we also need to look at the fitting part of the contact lens. And at the same time, if suppose there could be some conditions, some cases where we may not go for silicone hydrogel lenses because of the limitation in availability of power. So we may reduce the wearing time also. Suppose power is quite high, say more than minus 12 diopter. Then in that case, very few contact lenses will be there available in silicone hydrogel category. So there we have to go for hydrogels only. In that case, we may need to ask patient to reduce the wearing time. So that's how we can manage these hypoxia related changes. In fact, there is one more complication or change in cornea, which is mainly because of this hypoxia. And that changes, that condition is epithelial microcyst. So what are these microcysts? These are they are available in corneal epithelium. Basically, we can say it is because of the hypoxic changes in our cornea, reduce epithelial regeneration. So because we need oxygen for our corneal epithelium to regenerate, and if already condition is hypoxic, then that regeneration may reduce. And in that case, we may see some gap in between the epithelial cells. And that's where we can see these dots. So these are the basically microcysts we can see through slit lamp. They appear like as 10 to 50 micron, or on an average, if you look at 20 micron of size. Usually they are circular, translucent, and they are refractile in nature. Also, incidence rate, because these microcysts we can see in those cases also where patient is not using contact lenses. So we can say there could be 1% cases where we can see these microcysts even without contact lens wear as well. Also, as per Canyon and Humphreys, as per them, they have highlighted that there could be 100% cases where we may see these microcysts with contact lens uses. So signs, basically they are small, usually circular dots, and we may see them with fluorescein, or basically it is because of the disruptive mucin layer. Symptoms, again, usually asymptomatic, vision unaffected unless other signs are also not associated with it. And how to manage it? So as we know that there could be 1% cases where these microcysts may be without contact lens uses as well. And if we find that these microcysts are less than 10 in number, then we don't need to intervene there in that case. But if we see numbers are more, then we need to intervene. So what are those interventions? First and foremost, we need to refit this patient with high decay by T lenses or silicone hydrogels. Also, as we mentioned earlier, we may also reduce the wearing time as well. So these are the things we need to take care whenever we dispense any contact lens to our patients. Especially, we need to choose a contact lens which uh, should meet the oxygen requirement of our cornea for normal physiology or for normal metabolism. Then there is one more complication which we call corneal exhaustion syndrome. It is very rare. In fact, especially in current scenario, you will rarely see in case when your most of the patients are on silicone hydrogels or disposable hydrogels. So this is the condition, very rare, but maybe there wherever like mostly initially it was there with PMMA material lenses, and that was the first time it got introduced by COB. Also, we may see this condition where we are dispensing contact lenses with low water content, and especially those lenses are toric contact lenses. So we know that toric contact lenses are generally thicker than normal spherical lenses, and if the lens is thicker, so it should be with high water content so that it can compensate the oxygen permeability or transmissibility. But if the lens is low water content and if it is toric, then in long run it may lead to this syndrome. Also, low water content, high power spherical contact lenses as well. So we need to be careful whenever we are dispensing contact lenses to those patients where like where we see that the condition is astigmatism and refractive error is quite high. So signs, if we look at, we will see distorted keratometry myads. That's why we may also find irregular refraction. Edema will be acute, and posterior stromal haze may be seen, and endothelial changes may be there like polymegathism. So these are the signs we may find in symptoms. Reduced lens comfort or reduced wearing time as well. Blurred and fluctuating vision whenever they are using contact lenses. So management, just like other hypoxic conditions, so high DKB lens to prevent occurrence, and refit with lens of much higher DKB as well as like silicone hydrogel lenses. So these are the things we need to take care whenever we are dispensing these lenses to our patients, especially when they are toric prescriptions or spherical component with higher power. The next complication is corneal vascularization. Sometimes it is called neovascularization. Basically, why do we call it? Because it is introduction of new blood vessels in the cornea, or basically we can say it is the extension of the limbal blood vessels into the corneal region. So signs, if we look at here, early signs are vessel-like spikes, branching of capillaries we may see which have been arising from limbal area or limbal blood vessels getting entered into the cornea. Also, we know that if suppose any patient has got this neovascularization, and even this condition is being treated, is being recovered, patient is being recovered out of this condition, even then these blood vessels will not disappear. They will be present throughout the life as ghost vessels as well. If suppose we find these signs in any of the patient eye or cornea, we should be very careful while dispensing these lenses, or we should be very careful in terms of recommendations as well. Symptoms, mostly asymptomatic, and if it is severe, then many of the time patient may observe that there are blood vessels which are being visible in corneal area near limbus. Management, optimize lens fitting, increase DK/T, or refit with silicone hydrogel lenses. Sometimes we need to change the solution as well. It may be because of the solution component as well, or patient education and follow-up is much required here in these cases. So these are the recommendations. So if I summarize the complications related to hypoxia, so it will be mainly because of the change in physiology of the eye, and that is mainly because of the reduced oxygen transmissibility. So whatever complication is there because of the hypoxia, whether it is edema, striae, folds, or polymegathism, or microcyst, or this neovascularization or corneal vascularization, so the only remedy is increase DK/T or refit these patients with silicone hydrogel contact lenses. Now moving to the next part, which is the lens and lens related complication. So these are the complications which are mainly because of the lens material, design, or fit of that lens on eye. So there are majorly two or three complications we see in this category, like seal or smile or solution sensitivity. So seal is basically superior epithelial arcuate lesion. So these are the changes in corneal epithelium, or these are the effect in corneal epithelium, usually located in the superior corneal periphery. Basically, we can say uh, uh, 10 to 2 o'clock position of or periphery of cornea, and they are in arc shape. That's why we call them arcuate lesion. And because they are in the superior epithelium, though, so we call them superior epithelial arcuate lesions. And they are mostly unilateral. And these are mainly because of the tight eyelids or tight lens fit. In fact, that's why we call them, we may call them tight lens syndrome as well. If we go by the etiology, so it may be like etiology is not been confirmed yet, that what is the main reason or main cause behind this condition. But there are different researchers who have suggested different factors. One factor is like tight lid or low position upper lid. Also, in some cases, it may be because of the high modulus contact lens. Also, it may be uh, because upper lid is covering the contact lens or the superior part of the cornea, which is like a condition of the closed eye. So these could be the factors behind this condition. If we go by the detail of this lesions, arcuate lesions, so they are like spike shape, parallel to limbus, exactly, and you may see them like 1 to 3 mm under the limbus or inside the limbus. As I mentioned, it could be like 10 to 2 o'clock position, and in size they may be 0.5 mm wide and 2 to 5 mm long. So symptoms, typically they are asymptomatic, and it will be asymptomatic only in that case when epithelium is intact. If there is a challenges to epithelium or epithelium is not intact, then in that case, our patients may report slight discomfort or irritation, dryness, or scratchiness sometime, burning sensation as well. Pain may be there, but it will be very less likely there. So how to manage this condition? So first of all, in fact, it is applicable for all complications which may be there because of contact lenses. And that first and foremost action is cease the contact lens wearing immediately. Otherwise, it may lead to the other infections. Also, after ceasing or after discontinuing the contact lens wear, we need to wait for 3 to 7 days, and we will observe the condition. And after that, we may continue with the same lens or with new lenses with same specifications. Or if suppose we are changing the lens, then we may change the lens with different parameters as well. Also, in most of the cases, if suppose your patient is not getting relieved out of the soft contact lenses, then we may go for the RGP contact lens in that case. So mainly we need to think about discontinuing the contact lens, wait for some time, like 3 to 7 days or almost a week. Then after that, we may refit this lens, and if suppose soft contact lens doesn't work, so we may think about RGP contact lens as well. In fact, similar kind of complication is also there in our cornea, which is smile and desiccation staining. So why do we call it smile? Because it is there in the inferior arc of the cornea, periphery of the cornea, and it is in the shape of a smiling face. That's why we call it smile. or smiling arcuate lesion. So it is within the 3 to 4 mm of the limbus, and staining to a combination of metabolic disturbance and desiccation. Basically, we can say problem is more common when we fit high water content, very thin lens. So suppose you are dispensing a contact lens which is hydrogel, and it is there like disposable category where water content will be higher. So it should not be very thin. So also, especially in one environment where there is like low relative humidity is there, or abnormal or deficient precorneal tear film may also predispose a lens wearer to perforation problems as well. So we need to check for two things. One, like overall tear quality and quantity in our eye. Also at the same time, we also need to look at which type of lens we are dispensing. It should not be very thin lens with high water content. So symptoms again mostly asymptomatic, and symptoms if they are there, it may include like dryness, itchiness or grittiness or lens awareness. Usually pain is not reported in this condition. And how to manage this condition? So first of all, we need to ascertain fundamental causes, like what could be the basic reason. If it is because of the perforation, so we need to choose a contact lens which is there with slight more thickness. It should not be a very thin lens, at least at the edges or periphery. It should not be very low water content. It should be high or high oxygen transmission. Also, we need to think about changing the lens design, basically the front optic zone diameter, so that it will somewhere control the overall thickness of the contact lens. Or we may choose for the combination of these points, like changing the design of contact lens, changing the material of the contact lens, or water content of the contact lens. So these are the things we can do there or follow in case of the smile. Third complication in this category is solution sensitivity. In fact, in last 13 14 years of my experience, I have seen very rare cases of such kind, which is like solution hypersensitivity. And one case is like uh, that patient was first time user of contact lenses. So I asked that patient to use contact lens, and that time, first time it was okay, it was fine. But when the patient used the lens next day after soaking the lens in solution, then what he found immediately after putting on the lens, there was so much of sensation in our eyes, in the patient's eye. So it could be because of the allergic reaction, which are because of the components which are there in lens solution, mainly the preservative or disinfectants. So it may be because of that. So there may be some patients who are allergic to some of the component or preservatives in lens care solutions. Signs, if we look at diffuse corneal staining, bulbar injection, follicles may be there, or we may also see corneal infiltrates. Symptoms: burning sensation, redness, tearing, and photophobia as well. So what are the remedies or management or treatment for this condition? So first and foremost thing is discontinue lens wear, and wait for the corneal epithelium repair. Wait for that time. And whenever we are refitting that lens with the contact lenses, so either we should go for daily disposable, where there is no need for solution or lens care systems, or if patient don't want to go for daily disposable and want to stick to the monthly disposable ones, so then they can uh, or we may need to change the lens care system as well, where the preservative will be different, or it should be preservative free disinfection system. So these are the things we need to follow whenever there is solution sensitivity. in patient's eye. So the last one is the complication part is inflammation or infection. So we know that these conditions, both of these conditions are different, like infection and inflammation. So inflammation, basically we can say changes in the or reaction of the ocular tissues because of the uh, microorganism. So the first one is corneal infiltrates. So corneal infiltrate, basically we can say these are the reactions of our ocular defense system. And we know that whenever there is any change in tissue, so there will be reaction. And what will be the reaction? Basically, these are the WBC or lymphocytes, basically, which are the in response to this change in the ocular physiology. So what are these corneal infiltrates? So these are the basically hazy grayish white tiny circular to woolly appearance dots or points, relatively common in contact lens wearing. Also, we may see these corneal infiltrates in non-contact lens wearer as well. And these infiltrates, it may be sterile or infected, both type. But whenever we talk about infiltrate related to contact lenses, then most of the time it will be sterile or non-reactive kind of infiltrates will be there mostly. And most of the time they are in the corneal periphery compared to central part. Why in more in corneal periphery? Because corneal periphery is the proximity of limbus area where there are blood vessels. So because there are blood vessels and it is very close to the corneal part, so that's why we see more of these infiltrates in the periphery part. In fact, these conditions may be there because of the trapping of the microorganism, especially the gram-negative bacteria behind the contact lens. And once these bacteria they release toxins, so these toxins will cause of these corneal infiltrates, or basically we can say corneal infiltrates are the reactions of these toxins which are being released because of this microorganism or mainly gram-negative bacteria. So if you look at the signs, so we define infiltrates in terms of shape. What is the shape? Whether they are focal, diffuse, or in arcuate pattern. Size, whether they are small or large, as per the numbers, how many they are. Also the location in the cornea where they are presented, whether they are in periphery within 2 mm of the limbus or in center or in paracentral area of the cornea, or they may be epithelial, subepithelial, or stromal as well. But whenever we talk about contact lens related corneal infiltrates, so mostly they are like epithelial. Symptoms, again, most of them are asymptomatic if it is related to contact lenses because they are non-reactive kind of. But typically, if suppose symptoms are there, so these symptoms will be typically foreign body sensation, photophobia, and lacrimation or tearing in our eye. Pain and foreign body sensation may be there. Also, if suppose these infiltrates are there, so contact lens, in some cases, contact lens can mask the problems as well, because in that case, contact lens will act as a bandage contact lens. So how to manage these conditions? So first and foremost, cease the lens wear, discontinue contact lens wear. And the most significant factor in deciding of this management strategy will be whether that epithelial staining associated with the underlying infiltrates or not. So accordingly, we will decide whether it is epithelial or stromal. Then accordingly, we will decide what kind of strategy we will continue. and accordingly we will treat the underlying cause. If it is related to contact lens, then we will refit contact lenses with like high decay by T, or we will check the fitting part as well, or we will also look at if it is not related with contact lens. So what are those causes? So we will also think about changing the lens or lens care solution as well. We may also think about changing the wearing schedule, or here we need to re-emphasize more upon the patient education. And the best strategy will be dispense daily disposable contact lens or the silicone hydrogel ones. Or if suppose we need to change the lens care solution, so we need to think about using solutions which are preservative free. Antibiotic recommendation may be there, but again it will be a question mark. Like we need to select, or we need to choose whether we really need to use these antibiotic or not. The next complication in infiltrate or infection part is contact lens induced papillary conjunctivitis, or CLPC we call them. Earlier we used to call them GPC, which is like giant papillary conjunctivitis, which mainly used to be there with RGP materials more. But nowadays, because we have soft contact lenses and especially the thin lens design, so rarely we get to see this condition. But yes, ऐसा नहीं है कि like we have advanced lenses, so it will not be there. It may be there with advanced contact lens as well. Most of the time it is bilateral, but could be unilateral as well. And we may find that there could be 0.8 or we can say 1% to 12% cases where we can see these kind of complications. And if we look at the onset, like how long it may take, like after how long of contact lens wearing it may be there. So it could be from 2 months to 14 years of contact lens wearing. Also, one of the first sign of this condition is excessive deposition on the lens surface. So basically it is because of the excessive deposition on the lens surface, because whenever there are a lot of deposits on the lens surface, so what will happen, we blink, we continuously blink, and because of the continuous blinking, our lids are rubbing continuously on the lens surface where deposits are there, and because of that friction there will be changes in the conjunctiva, lid palpebral conjunctiva. And these changes mainly they start from the tarsal zone first, and basically appearance wise if we look at, there will be papillae, and these papillae it may be 0.3 to 0.9 mm of diameter. And symptoms, if they are very few or initial stage, then it may be asymptomatic. If it is moderate kind of condition, then what our patients may complain, they may complain of more lens awareness, more lens movement also may be there because of the papillae. Mainly we can say up riding or high riding lens we may also see, because when we take our lid up, so along with this lid it takes contact lens also along. So we may see high riding lens as well, drying of the lens surface, lens deposition, or we can also see decrease or fluctuating vision as well, itching or burning sensation sometime, and lens intolerance is also maybe a part of symptom. And how to manage this, mainly because of it's because of the contact lens deposition. So first of all we need to change the lens material where deposition will be least, or we may need to look at the lens care system as well, patient education in terms of proper cleaning of the lens, or change the lens design. Also, if suppose patient is there on conventional category or yearly category of lenses, so we will ask them to replace lenses frequently. So we will switch them to FRP or PRP category lenses, then optimize the lens care and maintenance. So these are the important things we need to take care whenever we find any of such signs or cases in contact lenses. So next complication, this is the second last complication of today's discussion. So it is the contact lens induced acute red eye or clear. So clear, we can say it is acute inflammatory response, or we can say that it is over exaggeration of the condition or lens wear our patients may complain of. So mainly associated with soft contact lenses, especially the extended wear one. If suppose our patients are wearing lenses as extended wear, and like patient, what they may complain of, they may get complain of like severe pain or acute red eye, especially in the early hours of morning, basically somewhere around 2 to 3 a.m. So that's why we also call this 3 a.m. syndrome, mainly because of the incidence of the symptoms at that particular time. So clear, we may also term it as 3 a.m. syndrome. So we may see this condition as soon as like 3 months of lens wear as well, and it is mainly because of the action of gram-negative bacteria, which is Pseudomonas aeruginosa mainly. So signs, if we look at moderate to severe ocular redness, it may be 360 of conjunctival redness we may see. Infiltrates also may be there, which may be diffused, or like focal infiltrates also may be there. Minimal or no staining may be there. Also lacrimation, also sometimes it is of kind of profuse. So the main complaint here, it will be like pain, moderate to severe redness. So these are the, or also discharge. These are the three main symptoms our patients signs we may see. Also patients may complain about like painful eye, photophobia, lacrimation or watering, excessive watering, or ocular irritation. And these are there especially in early hours of the morning. And how to manage that? So it is mainly because of the non-compliance thing. So patient are using soft contact lenses as extended wear, and they are not uh, taking care of lenses well, not maintaining hygiene. So we need to think here about educating our patients about the hygiene part. So first of all, immediately discontinue contact lens wear, cold compress to reduce the inflammation. We may also use artificial tears. And whenever we are refitting this patient with contact lenses, so we will refit this patient with disposable contact lenses, preferably daily disposable one, or if monthly, then silicone hydrogel. Also, we may also think about reducing wearing time. And first and for like most important part will be patient education about lens hygiene. So these will be the important points here in under clear. And moving to the last complication, which is the uh, very dangerous one, but again very rare, which is microbial keratitis. So basically, it is an inflammation of corneal tissue due to the direct uh, impact of the microorganism like bacteria, fungi, or protozoa. As I mentioned, it is not very common. It is rare, but if suppose it is there, it is very dangerous. So we can say this is the complication which is sight-threatening complication which we have seen with soft contact lens uses. So in fact, if we look at the occurrence, so contact lens wearer has 80 times more risk of corneal infection compared with that of healthy non-wearers. Also, if suppose these contact lens users are extended wearing category users, so this risk will also go up. Even it will go up by 3 to 8 times. So risk factor along with the extended wear are corneal hypoxia, over wearing of lenses, or overnight wearing of contact lenses, non-compliance, not taking care of lenses well, not cleaning properly lenses, hygiene and personal hygiene issues. So if suppose these are the things clubbed with extended wear, then possibility of this kind of complication is quite high. Signs we talk about, there will be severe redness, discharge. It will be mainly mucopurulent discharge kind of, and may have AC reaction as well, like hypopyon ulcer, uh, lid edema, corneal infiltrates, staining, and corneal perforation also may be there. So these are the signs which may see in microbial keratitis. Symptoms: severe pain, photophobia, tearing or more watering, or discharge. It may be kind of more of purulent, redness, swelling eyelid, and vision damage also. So as I mentioned that this is the kind of complication which is sight threatening, we can say, with soft contact lens usage. So how to manage this complication? So first and foremost, immediately we will discontinue contact lens, and we will immediately seek ophthalmology help. So this condition should be treated as emergency. Also, there may be need of like culture of eye lens case solution or lens as well. So if suppose any of the patient has got this kind of complication, so we may ask patient to present with contact lens which it was there, or lens case as well. Also the culture from corneal tissue as well. So that is there, and whenever this condition is uh, corrected or treated, and next time whenever we think about refitting this patient with contact lenses, so we need to be extra careful there in that case. So that is something which we need to be careful. In fact, as I mentioned earlier, complications
Just a second,
are
sir.
not
Just a
very
second.
common nowadays with soft contact lenses. But yes, if they are there, we need to be very careful about, or very careful about like how we manage these complications. We need to understand that complication and accordingly take the action. Also, as an practitioner, our role is to solve the problems whenever they occur. But for me, the more important one is to minimize these complications. And how we can do that? By careful preliminary assessment to select successful wearers. So first of all, patient selection is important. Which kind of lens we need to dispense to this patient, that is also important. Like selection of material, selection of design, selection of modality, selection of lens care. So these are the important part. We need to be careful whenever we are dispensing contact lens to our patients. Also, we need to be very careful about the fitting part. It should be optimally fit on eye, and at the same time, we need to ask, or we should ask patient for a regular follow-up as well. Also, over and above, I would say one thing: whenever we get a opportunity, so we should always educate our patients. And what we need to educate our patients, just remember this sentence: if in doubt, immediately take them out. So with this note, I would like to thank you all for your kind listening. So if we have any questions, any query, any doubt here, so we can discuss now. Or if we like later on, if you go through any of the complications or any challenge with contact lenses, so you can contact me. So you can see the contact details on screen there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr.
So
Puspender, sir,
Kapil, if we
for
have
this
any
informative
questions there, we
session.
can take them. So I'll just
Mm,
unshare my screen.
Thank you, sir, for this informative session. Also, thanks to all the attendees and for the participation and patience. Now we are to begin with our discussion session.
Samadhya, if we have any questions, so we can take them now.
Okay, sir. I'll hand over this session to Mr. Kapil. Kapil, are you there?
Yes. Okay, thank you, Samagya. So, sir, can you read this question, or I should have to read for you? Hello, Pushpendra sir, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, yes, sir. You are audible to us. So I will be read out question for you. Okay, there is another one question from the Gulab Singh sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your question. He is asking for is of now any contact lens without the complication yet. So there are any variety of lenses that who is not basically uh, designed with not any complication. Sir, I guess we are not able to hear your voice.
Well, can you repeat the question again?
Yes, yes, sir. So, is of now any contact lens without any complication yet? Yes, sir. Okay, sir, can you hear my voice?
Yeah, I can hear you, Kapil, but
Sir,
it's
there is
not
a
clear.
echo. I guess you have to. Yes, yes, you have to mute your laptop first, sir. I guess if you are using your phone, so it will be better if you mute your laptop, and you can also see the question on your screen on your laptop, or you want to see question from your. If you want to see your this question from your phone, so you can go to the chat box. There is a cursor of chat, and you can read out the question. Yes, we can also do from your mobile phone.
Will just give me one moment.
Okay, so no problem. Okay, now can you hear our voice, sir?
Yeah, yeah, Kapil. So it looks
Yes,
better
sir.
now.
Sir.
I hope I am
Okay,
also
sir.
I hope I am also audible to you.
Yes, yes, sir, yes. So, as of now, any contact lens without the complications, sir?
Okay, so any contact lens without complication. So if I look at there is one category. So first of all soft contact lenses we may make them a lens without any complication if our patients are compliant. So if we follow as a practitioner, if we follow all the guidelines and patients, if we follow all the recommendations, so that then we can say that we can lead for a successful contact lens wear. But yes, if you talk about contact lens without complication, then it would be only daily disposable category lens. As per the research, it is mainly daily disposable category, which we can say that it is there with the least complications available with these contact lenses.
Okay. So, there is another question from the Asmita. So, sir, can I have explanation about the lens awareness as a symptoms?
Okay. So see, lens awareness, it could be of many types. Mainly, in fact, if you have heard about contact lens discomfort. So first of all, we need to understand like what that patient is like want to say about that discomfort. Whether the discomfort is because of the like is it the field related, if it is vision related. So hello,
Yes,
hello.
sir, you are audible. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So we yeah we need to be like we need to understand first what patient want to say, or if it is like exactly lens awareness or lens feeling on eye. So again we need to rule out whether it is like adaptive symptom wala lens awareness hai, or it is like more feeling of the lens on eye. So if suppose patient is a neophyte, first time user of contact lens, then definitely that patient may feel something on eye, because at that time contact lenses are acting as a foreign body. So that is there. If suppose patient is old user of contact lenses and they are using same lenses for quite long time, then we need to look at what are the exact complaints. So whether that complaint is like in initial hours, or in mid of the day, or it is more of end of the day. So what kind of awareness it is? What is the duration of that lens awareness? And accordingly, we will decide that what action we need to take there. So suppose if the awareness is for the first time user, then we can say that it is adaptive kind of. So we need to wait for some time. We need to give some time to our eye also to get adapted to this contact lens. Then if it is with the regular user of uh, contact lenses, then we need to find out the reason. Also, we can rule it out as per the duration as well, when it is, whether it is immediately after putting on the lenses. So it may be because of the damaged lens as well. It may be because of the heavily deposited contact lens as well. Or if it is that awareness is end of the day, so it may be because of the dehydration also, or because of the hypoxic condition as well. So we need to find out first what is the duration, when, what time it is, whether it is for the first time, or if it is after say long uses of contact lenses. Then accordingly we will take action.
Okay, that's a perfect answer. So there is another question from the Sadab. He is asking, for should lubricating eye drops with the contact lens mandatory recommend for the contact lens wear in this time?
Okay. In fact, nowadays, very common complaint we see with contact lenses, which is dryness complaint. So here we need to understand first whether that dryness is contact lens induced, or it is because of the eye. If it is because of the eye, then again we need to rule out whether it is like uh, moderate kind of, or it is, if it is severe kind of. So if it is moderate, then there we may think about contact lenses, but that lens should be with dehydration control. Like nowadays we have so many lenses available which are maintaining the lens moisture for long time, and in that case it will not cause any further dryness in the eye. Or if it is because of the contact lens, then definitely we need to change the lens. Like if it is hydrogel disposable, then we need to go for lens where water content should be less, and it is more of the bound water, just like a silicon hydrogel contact lens. So that one thing. Second, uses of lubricating eye drop over these contact lenses. So we should be very careful about, because if it is why do we use lubricating eye drop? We use lubricating eye drop to take care, or to reduce the feeling of the lens on eye. And we need to understand first what is the reason of that feeling. Is it mainly the eye, or because of the lens? And accordingly we need to treat. And we need to be very careful about using this lubricating eye drop. First of all, whatever eye drop we are using with contact lenses, it should be preservative free. One. Second, if we are using these lubricating eye drops, so we are using that drop to reduce the symptoms. So it will reduce the symptom for say short duration of time. So first of all, we need to understand the cause and treat that cause, rather than just uh, suppressing it for temporary use. So we can use lubricating eye drop, but first of all, it should be preservative free. And it's better if we use those lubricating eye drops which are being recommended to be used with contact lens materials as well, because we never know what component of the eye drop will react with contact lens material, and it may change the surface property or the parameters of the lens as well. So we need to be careful while using these lubricating eye drops.
Okay, okay. Uh, there is one query from the Saumil Sarma. She's saying, I'm the optometrist in Australia, and I had a general question about the antibiotic prescribing. In Australia, optometrists have a prescribing rights. In India, are optometrists in same situation, or do Indian optometrists need to refer to the ophthalmology?
So Somil, we don't, in India we don't have those right of prescribing eye drops in our optometry clinics. So that is only possible under ophthalmology supervision. Or if suppose you are practicing individually, so you need to refer that patient to ophthalmologist for such intervention. So we don't have that right here in India to prescribe antibiotics.
Okay, there is another question. Sadab sir asking for how can we differentiate between the common conjunctivitis and conjunctivitis caused by the COVID-19 virus? I guess this is the out of the text. So
Waiting for some question related to COVID-19. So, Sada, first of all, we are still waiting for the research or studies around COVID-19. So we don't have such a study which may highlight the impact of COVID-19 virus on eye. So I may not answer this question right now, but yes, with the time, like we may get the answer very soon. As soon as we get more research or studies around COVID-19 virus.
okay, sir, there is one question again from the Sadab sir. So can you see this question on your screen?
So what is
He's
your
asking
take
what
on
is
Hopkins
yes.
University? So what is your take on the Hopkins University School of Medicine study on ACE 214 published 2-3 days ago? Does that anyhow make the regular contact lens wearer more susceptible to COVID-19? Okay, so Sadab, I have not gone through that study yet, but as much like what all I know, there is no study which proves that contact lenses wearing contact lens will worsen the conditions which are there with COVID-19. So I have not gone through the particular study which you are talking about here. But yes, even as per ICAL as well, as per the recent guidelines or like information we have, there is no such study which proves that there is impact of contact lens wear of COVID-19 on contact lens wear or contact lens wearing versus the condition of COVID-19.
Okay. Okay. So okay. Beside this thing, uh, actually, sir, you have already talked about by using the solution, multi-purpose solution. There is a basically superior acute lesion, right, sir?
Hmm.
Sir, what is the mechanism that it's only affect the superior acute rather than the other acutes, like in inferior or in the nasal side or temporal? Is there any mechanism? Yes, sir.
So if we talk about the seal, so as I mentioned earlier that final or exact etiology has not been confirmed yet. There are different researchers who have given different explanations behind the causes of this seal. Like, hello, hello.
Uh, yes, sir. Yes, yes. You are audible. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So, as per Josephson, means what they say that it is mainly because of the modulus of the lens material, or there are some scientists who say that it is mainly because of the tight lids or pressure of the lid over the lens on the superior region. Then, as per some scientists, it is mainly because of the lid which is covering the cornea more on the superior portion. So these are the couple of reasons they have given, but exact etiology has not been confirmed yet. That what is the exact reason or correct reason which is behind this thing. But there could be out of these 3 or 4 reasons: high modulus lens, tight lens or tight lids, or low position upper lid, It may be because of that also, or mainly because of the upper lid which is covering the superior portion of the cornea. So these could be the possible reasons which have been highlighted till now.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir. And I guess we have answered the many of the queries. So I'd like to continue, Miss
In fact, if you have any,
Samagya.
if anyone has more queries, so they can contact me. I'll share my contact detail as well. So questions are most welcome.
If anybody have the question, please unmute yourself, and you can unmute yourself and ask the question direct to the Arpus sir. Okay, sir. I guess we have answered the most of the questions. So, Samagya, are you there? Hello, Samagya, are you there? Okay, see my.
I think
Uh, okay, sir. So once again, thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful presentation. I guess we have answered many of the queries as well as many of the doubt regarding the soft contact lens complication. Pushpinder, sir, we are so much happy to see you again and again in our platform. So thank you so much. And if you have any good notes for our platform, or you want to convey some message to the attendees.
Thank you
Sir?
so much,
Yes,
Kapil,
sir.
and thank you all for having me here at this platform. So it is always pleasure to share whatever experience I have here with all of you. So thank you so much. Take care. Stay safe. Stay home. So thank you again.
Thank you so much, sir. So here with I am in the today's session, requesting all you please review, drop your review and feedback. Stay safe. Keep in touch. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, and have a good day.
Thank you, Kapil. Take care. Thank you.
Yes, you too, sir. Thank you.